welcome to our new show, and this is going to be our bi-weekly show. Every other Monday we're going to be putting these out where we just kind of go down the list of all the topics that we want to talk about of wrestling. It'll be majority WWE and AEW, but we'll go through other things too as we feel necessary. But yeah, this is going to be something new we're doing. Next time you see us for one of these videos, we'll have a new background and kind of setup for these, and yeah, it'll look a little bit nicer around, hopefully, for y'all. But yeah, this is going to be our new show, kind of like a news section, kind of talk about everything wrestling related. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, being that this is the first show and it's right after Mania. So yeah, anything you want to say?
No, I'm just hope you guys enjoy this type of content. Let us know if you enjoy these types of like longer videos, so we kind of know what to do in the future. Kind of do this as well just to get more content out to you guys and kind of build a community together, because that's something that we really want to do in 2024 is just help build the Wrestling Junkie community. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video, and yeah, let's get things off.
But yeah, first up we have the Raw after Mania. We're going to kind of start from there. Obviously everyone's going to know by now what happened at Mania. But yeah, the big talking point of the Raw after Mania is going to be Cody and Rock. What did Rock give to Cody? What can we expect from Rock versus Cody? And potentially where will that happen?
Yeah, I mean, first off, just the segment as well. It was like a really good segment. It did last a little long, which I did feel, but it was like, I didn't mind it being so long because it made sense as well at the end of the day. But yeah, I'll start off with what do I think he gave him. Now, I have a few conspiracies, some really bad, some, just for entertainment. One of them, what I told you about this, was potentially MJF's ring. Maybe there's a chance that's one of like the goofy ones that I think is just a stupid possibility. But the one I do think it's he gave him a watch. Now, which watch? It's either between the one that Dusty pawned off for Cody and his sister to pursue acting, which ends up leading an end to WWE and like their careers, or the watch that Cody bought for the 4 guys in that night one main event. Because you say he got Seth one, we see Roman and Rock one as well, and only imagine that Rock also got one as well. So I think it's one of those two. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm assuming it does have something to do with one of the watches. I would assume it would probably be like you said, with the one that Cody gave to him. I don't know why they would hide that, being that it's kind of like a known thing. So maybe it's not because of that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's definitely because it's something small. Obviously, it's able to fit in The Rock's hand, which obviously probably has big hands. But like, it's something that's small enough to fit in his hands, and that it has meaning to something related to either Cody, Rock, or just something to build a storyline. What to expect from Cody and Rock? I mean, it has to be a match. I guess the real question is where. Either SummerSlam, which feels like it's not big enough, even though SummerSlam is like the biggest pay-per-view or PLE outside of WrestleMania. But yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be Mania. Because The Rock also mentioned that he won't be around for a little bit. He has things to do. We've already seen him doing his Disney promotional videos and all that. But yeah, so I'm assuming that'll probably be a Mania thing. Yeah, that'll probably be what it is. But yeah, outside of that, we also had the call-ups and the announcement of the draft, where we're going to start with the call-ups, and that's going to be Ilya Dragunov and Roxanne Perez. Obviously, y'all know Dragunov is one of your favorites. Roxanne Perez is one of my favorites. And yeah, so this is just pretty cool. Dragunov looked very strong in his match, and so did Roxanne. And yeah, that's just something I'm pretty excited about. Potential tag teams with her, potential just a lot of things you could, do with her. I like to see her and Tiffany go at it, or team together even. But yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, when I was watching this and I heard Ilya's like music play, I was like really excited. I was like, oh shit, like, oh, this is like kind of crazy. We obviously already had the announcement beforehand that the draft was coming soon, so we obviously knew this was like already going to happen. We just didn't know who the people were going to be. But Ilya going at Shinsuke was a pretty fun match. Shinsuke, a guy who some have been kind of talking crap on and kind of downgrading his work, and obviously I can agree with that a little bit. His work has not been as great as years prior, but that's just due to age and stuff like that. But they had a pretty good match. We had Roxanne and Indy Hartwell, which was a pretty good match as well, which also built more into the storyline of Indy and Candice. But yeah, I'm really excited for what this means. These two are probably gonna get called up. Obviously, this isn't official, but these are two people we can definitely much see be on main roster. I mean, in 4 weeks time, next month, really. So
yeah. And then after that, we have a couple Uncle Howdy teases that we've been getting basically throughout the entire week, even at Mania. We had a tease that people watching from home didn't see, but the people in the crowd did. So I'm assuming that it's something to do with Bo Dallas. There's also been rumors of Eric Rowan potentially coming back. He's been calling out of a lot of indie shows and whatnot. So people are expecting him to be coming back to WWE. So yeah, pretty exciting things, because I would assume that would also mean that's Alexa Bliss's return as well. So I would assume she would come back at some point during this. And yeah, I'm a fan of all of them. I think it'll be great. Then yeah, I think this would be cool for just the Bray Wyatt legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think this is the only thing I am scared of if it's not to the people's standards. Because obviously with Bray being the face of this storyline that was happening, it was very intriguing. Like, I remember those weeks leading into his eventual return. It was some of like the best weeks of wrestling, because like every week you're watching everything a little bit harder to like see if there was something in the background or like what tease was happening at that point. So I think they really need to strike home like a good storyline. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy off the rip. Hopefully we just get some minor storylines, some minor feuds, kind of like how Bray did with LA Knight at Rumble and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's really important that they take their time on this and they don't rush it, and it's a very good storyline, which I think it will be.
I can see them potentially trying to target LA Knight, being that was Bray's last match. And I think that could be pretty interesting to see how they would kind of approach the situation, being that obviously Bray Wyatt is not with us anymore. But yeah, outside of that, I guess we'll go to Julia. She appeared at NXT Stand and Deliver. She had like a big standing ovation. They showed her on camera yesterday or the day before, I forget what day, but she had like a little interview and she kind of talked about it a little bit, and she mentioned that she didn't know that she was on camera. She just was told to kind of stand up, and she heard the crowd like cheering for her, but she didn't understand that they were cheering for her because she couldn't see herself on the screen. But yeah, once she realized it was that, she was like, I was super surprised. I wanted to redo it, but I couldn't. It was live, obviously. But yeah, pretty cool to see her come up. I know you were kind of talking about her a lot, even months ago, potentially coming to WWE. And that's someone who I recently started looking into, and yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it was really nice that she like didn't expect that, or she didn't understand that was for her until like as you can see, she realized like, oh wait, this is for me. It's like it felt like a really like heartwarming moment. But yeah, there's a lot that could happen with this. I mean, I'm not really comparing her to Asuka, but it's just somebody I'm trying to compare it to. Is just when Asuka came in, she came in really strong in NXT. She was booked very very good. I wasn't around watching at the time, but from what I hear online and looking back at some matches, they're all pretty good. It was like a good time with her.
And funny that you say that. Asuka, when she first appeared on WWE TV, she was in the crowd with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And now we see Julia, first appearance in WWE, in the crowd, but with William Regal.
Yeah.
And Rosie as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool. Comparison there. Yeah, excited to see what she does. Obviously, there's a lot of attention on Jade right now. She's been having good matches. She's already had a Mania match. She's had a Rumble match. And she just looks like a big mega star right now. And that's somebody who we'll definitely be seeing a lot of moving forward. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like a little bit of flack that Jade's been getting on Twitter of just people saying like, oh, this is exactly how she's been booked in AEW. There's no difference. What was like the time of her not putting her on screen? And just people just kind of just talking shit just to talk shit, and I don't agree with half of it because at the end of the day, what megastar or like big like muscular figure in WWE history has not started with like these like squash matches? Ryback had them. I know obviously that's a little bit different, but like even Rusev I think had a lot of squash matches in before.
Braun Breaker, literally right now.
Braun Breakers, you know, those Braun Strowman had a lot of them. All like big muscular like big like threats to the division have gotten these squash matches into like at the start of their WWE career really, and I think Jade's no different, and I don't think this means that this is where she'll stay for the rest of their career, just like this squash match and be like the Goldberg, but I think she will be what everybody expects from her and pretty much assumes is that she'll be this megastar in by next year's Mania really.
And she's going against Chelsea, and Chelsea probably doesn't mind these losses at all.
Oh, yeah,
she just enjoys getting the screen time, and she's just having fun out there.
Yeah, because I mean, if I don't want to sound mean, I'm just kind of this is me thinking and being honest how I feel. Chelsea Green's like cap probably isn't that high. Like her limit, her roof is not that high. She might be winning the world title one day. Maybe she won't, and if she doesn't, I won't be really too surprised if I'm being honest. But this is her character, is like this little sassy kind of caring character, and she gets on screen, she makes the best out of every segment. I'll say that for sure, and everybody's happy with it. And I don't think you need to change that if everybody's liking it.
Yeah, and then up next, obviously, as I mentioned before, they said that the draft is going to be coming. They didn't have an exact date, if I'm not mistaken, but sometime in the next month, we will be seeing the draft. And with that, at NXT, they also mentioned that people can be drafted to NXT and from NXT. So they're basically trying to turn NXT into its own third brand. They're not trying to make it to where people are called up anymore. It's like, you know, they're just changing brands. And yeah, I think that's a pretty exciting thing. That'll kind of split people up a little bit more. You could put titles on a little bit more variety of people. People who are in NXT and deserve to be moved around a little bit will, you know, get that TV time on, you know, big spotlights finally. And yeah, I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, me and you talk about this a lot, is like how much we enjoyed Survivor Series 2019 when you had Raw, SmackDown, and NXT all competing at Survivor Series. And with the looks of this, I think this is a perfect setup for that, for this year's Survivor Series.
Yeah, and then also, after that, they made another pretty cool announcement, and that is the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, May 25th in Saudi Arabia. So that's going to be their Saudi pay-per-view, May 25th, King and Queen of the Ring. So yeah, that's pretty cool that they're bringing it back. So who do you think are potential, you know, winners for each of those?
Since I don't think they're going to throw him in the title picture just yet, and I think it would fit the character fairly well, is Gunther. I think that's somebody who he goes into a tournament and he just absolutely destroys. Like, tournaments and wrestling can be hit or miss, but like something like the G1 Climax and the Continental Classic that AEW did, those were phenomenal. I like that every week you know who you're gonna get, and but you know it's gonna be a really good match. I think if you have Gunther in that, he would have a blast in that type of style of format. And on the women's side, there's a few people. Maybe this is where you can see a Jade if you really want to test like her stamina and like see her in like longer matches and more matches. Bianca, I think, could be a real threat for that. What about you?
I think for the men's side, there's there are literally so many different people who I would like to see win it, just to kind of get the spotlight, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think even someone like Ilya Dragunov winning it, just to build him up, just to kind of put him on the level of Gunther in the eyes of the people, so you could kind of start that up. I think because that's kind of, you know, what a lot of people are going to want to see. So I think that would be a good startup for them. Maybe he eliminates him in the King of the Ring or something like that, and that kind of starts their feud. But yeah, Gunther is also obviously another good pick because I'd like to see him go for the world title, and that could be a good entryway for him to get there as well.
Yeah.
And then for the women's side, Jade is kind of like the obvious one, but outside of that, I don't know. Maybe like a Oscar, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be Jade. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to honestly not involve her in this. Because I'd like to just see that go on someone else, because she doesn't really need a Queen of the Ring title right now.
Or another woman that you could have in this mix is even like a Candice LeRae. If you really want to like get on this the type train that we're seeing, I'll get like this new character change where she's turning heel now. If you'll make it a big deal and maybe propose her as like a future women's champion, maybe not winning it, but at least having a shot at it. I think that would be a good way to introduce her as well, like a mean queen and just maybe a little stuck up, and I think that'd be pretty fun.
Or a Tiffany Stratton, that could be a good one as well. Roxanne Perez, if she does, move on to the main roster. I'm also curious if NXT will be involved in this tournament, since they're trying to do this little thing with NXT. But yeah, that's pretty cool. At least they're bringing it back. I would prefer it to be in the States, because that's kind of like a used to be like a staple pay-per-view back in the day, you know what I mean? But it's cool for them as well, so at least they get something cool like that.
Yeah, and I know it's hard on the wrestlers to do this, but I liked when it was Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. I like that style where it wasn't just the finals on the pay-per-view or the PLE. It was
the whole thing.
Yeah, it was basically the entire tournament where you have guys working 2, sometimes even 3 matches in one night, which I get not everybody can do, so I understand why they don't do that or why they may not do it. But I would like to see that style to really get like the endurance to like show people like, okay, these guys have been going crazy all night and I still having bigger matches,
No. Also, good segue for the next one, but a good person to win that King of the Ring is the guy who's going to be returning tonight on Raw, and that is Sheamus. But yeah, he is returning tonight on Raw as of the dropping of this video. But yeah, he's coming back. Pretty cool. They're excited to see what he does, because see him in a lot of different title pictures potentially. And yeah.
Yeah, because you still have to. I think eventually he will be a guy who could beat either Sammy, or if Gable wins it, maybe he could finally get that Grand Slam where he wins the Intercontinental, or you have him and Damian to go at it, and maybe have him in the World Heavyweight picture as well.
Yeah. More news that we have coming out from Twitter today, and that is a Big E injury status. He basically came out and he mentioned that he is pretty much gonna be retired, and what he said specifically is, hey, all 2-year neck scans are in. Things are unchanged. My C1 has healed, but has not formed a new bone. I'm not medically cleared, and truthfully, I may never be. But I am blessed to be free of pain, immensely happy, and otherwise healthy. Life is good. But yeah, at least he's healthy. At least he's, feeling better, and he says he's feeling great. So that's obviously, the most important thing. But, it would be amazing to see him medically cleared and to see him back in the ring.
Yeah, he's the guy who I wasn't around watching during his singles run where he won the world title and stuff like that. But he's a guy who, when I was watching him, when he was still with Dolph Ziggler, and then when he started with A New Day, he was a guy you could tell just had so much charisma, and he was just like this super... He's one of the guys where you just had good energy from. I know that's kind of like corny thing to say, but like it felt like he had good energy, and I love Big E ever since. It sucks that I won't be able to see him every week. Maybe we still do, but it's in different roles. I would love to see him in a commentary role. He's great at that. He does a lot of the pre-shows for PLEs. Maybe when Pat McAfee leaves for football season, maybe we can see him in that position. But yeah, obviously it sucks to not have him around every week, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is his well-being, and if he's happy, I'm happy, so...
Yep, and then our last bit of news for Raw this week is going to be Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the IC title. Who do you think is going to win, and do you think we're going to get a heel turn from one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, it's in Montreal, Sammy's hometown. The last time he was here, I think the last time they were was on Elimination Chamber. Could be wrong. Hopefully they didn't do like a SmackDown there or something. But yeah, the last time Sammy may have fought here was Elimination Chamber, where he did lose to Roman Reigns in a phenomenal match. Do I think he gets it done? I'm gonna say yes, because I don't want to see his run in this early. Because even though I love Gable and I want to see him with the Intercontinental Champion, I want to see Sami with the belt a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think my prediction will probably be for Sammy to win, but Gable attacks him after the match, turns heel, because that'd be a great way to get a lot of heat behind him, and the crowd would erupt for something like that, because obviously, you know, they're in Montreal, that's Sammy's place. So I could imagine they would erupt and, you know, they'd boo him out of the building, basically. But yeah, moving on from Raw, we're going to go into SmackDown, and that is going to be Bayley versus Naomi is official. And yeah, we're going to see, obviously, if Naomi can win the title. I honestly don't think she will, unfortunately. But yeah, Bayley just won at Mania. Wouldn't make sense to do that right now. Don't want to see her turn heel, don't want to see her turn heel or anything as well. So I'm not really sure what the point of this match is, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna get like a good, fair match, just two respectable people who respect each other in the ring, and then hopefully just have a phenomenal match, because you love that type of style where two friends go at it and they have a banger match. So hopefully we get that out of these two. Like you said, it's kind of obvious that Bayley wins here. Obviously, there's no money in the bank in play anymore. Maybe we get somebody attacks her and kind of just starts her next feud. Talking about Bayley, by the way. But yeah, cool to see these two go at it next week or this week.
Yeah, and then keeping on the same topic of number one contenders, we have LA Knight versus AJ for the number one contender to face Cody at Backlash. They both had triple threat matches. They both won, and now they face each other again after just facing each other at Mania. I would assume AJ gets the win, being that LA Knight got the big win at Mania. And that's a cool way to see AJ versus Cody, and I'm super down to see that.
Yeah, I don't know if one of us said it on a video, but Cody versus AJ is one of those matches where I would love to see it.
For sure.
It's something that I think a lot of people have been wanting ever since Cody came back to WWE, and because they kind of, they pretty sure they completely missed each other when AJ came to WWE, and then Cody was already out at that time. I think they actually met on the Indies even. Yeah, I think they did. But anyways, I am pulling for AJ because, like you said, he did get the loss at Mania, kind of get the bounce back win overnight here on SmackDown. Also, as much as I like LA Knight, I really don't want to see him in like another face versus face title match, especially when we've seen him go out on Mania night 2 and he helped put Cody on his shoulders. So I kind of would rather AJ in pretty much every aspect, really.
Yeah, and it makes sense with his new heel character, which I kind of been enjoying as well. But now the main topic of SmackDown is, we get this segment with Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa. They're all in the ring. But I'm gonna just cut to the chase because this is what matters. Is Solo basically says, wins and losses matter, and your loss at Mania deserves to have repercussions, basically. And then Jimmy's kind of like, who, me? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then he goes in for the hug. He kind of hugs him for a minute. He says, I love you, Uso, or something like that. He turns his back to him. And then who comes out? And of course, a black hoodie. Tama Tonga. He makes his official WWE debut. He attacks Jimmy Uso from behind. He gets a pretty big beatdown from both him and Solo. And I'll let you kind of finish off the story.
Yeah, so Tama Tonga, he debuts. He attacked Jimmy. And pretty much him and Solo are the new duo in Bloodline. They put a chair on Jimmy's neck, and Solo does his running attack into the corner and pretty much snaps Jimmy's neck off, basically. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I'm this big Tama Tonga fan and that I've been watching him for every single match that he's done in New Japan. I don't know much about him. I don't think I've watched a match from him, to be honest. But with this Bloodline story, one thing I do know is to trust the process, and that in the end it will have a great finish. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting from this.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty big news. You know, we're getting another official Bloodline member, and another big thing to note from it as well is during the beatdown, Paul Heyman goes to make a call, and he does his thing and call Roman Reigns, and Solo snatches the phone from him, throws it in the ring, stomps it down. Then he said that this is orders from the tribal chief, or he says something of that effect. But yeah, pretty big news there. Pretty surprising. Didn't really expect that. A lot of people were expecting Jacob Fatu or Zilla. There's a lot of people were expecting. But we got Tama Tonga, and I don't think anyone's disappointed.
Yeah, what if potentially we obviously had Roman and then the Usos, and then once Solo came in, that was a squad. What if we see Solo in the position of Roman Reigns? Then you have Tama Tonga as the Solo of the group. Then you get Jacob and Zilla in, and then they're the new Usos. They're the new brother tag team. That's potentially something we see, because Jacob has said that he signed with WWE. We haven't seen anything. That's what I was expecting, honestly, when I seen this segment starting to brew. But yeah, we get Tama Tonga instead, and should be interesting.
Yeah, and this is basically a new Bloodline arc. And another rumor kind of going around, another thing that people are potentially wanting to see now, after kind of getting the respect of Roman Reigns. Sometimes you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone, and now he's not the champion. A lot more people are kind of talking about him, saying how much they liked the reign, and maybe they talked about it before, but overall they enjoyed it. Now they appreciate that he won last year to have this big moment this year. But yeah, with that being said, a lot of people are saying that maybe we get face Roman.
Yeah, face Roman. I mean, when he comes back at, I'm just gonna assume SummerSlam. Oops, sorry. But I assume SummerSlam because that just makes the most sense. I think the place might go crazy. Like, it's gonna go crazy. Like, when he saves, let's just say he saves the Usos for whatever reason. When they see that face and it's Roman Reigns doing a spear or a Superman punch, it's going to go absolutely crazy. I'm super excited for it, because with Roman being out for so long and him, like you said, just not being thankful what we have, really, when he comes back, everybody's going to be like, holy, now we got to pay attention even more and just be locked in with this Roman Reigns storyline.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it as far as SmackDown goes. Obviously, there was more matches, but I'll let y'all get into those matches when y'all want to.
Yeah, we did, however, also get a A-Town Down Under promo, and then after that, we did see Nick Aldis and then the Street Profits and New Catch Republic in there, and says we'll figure something out for him. So presumably we get Profits versus New Catch Republic this week on SmackDown, which I'm very excited for. Two of my favorite tag teams on SmackDown. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and then now we're gonna go on to, I guess we could quickly do some NXT, and this Tuesday they're gonna be doing a steel cage match with Trick versus Carmelo Hayes. Obviously, Trick had a big win over Carmelo Hayes at Stand and Deliver. Yeah, now they're doing that. And that's pretty much all I want to mention for NXT for now. Yeah,
I wonder if this gets the version of loser leaves NXT, or something where either the winner or the loser gets called up, or whatever happens. The winner decides what happens with their future on the roster and stuff like that. Because Carmelo is somebody I want to see on main roster. Trick is something I do want to see, but I think he can maybe use some more time and try to build his fantastic crowd reactions and boost that even more when he does to eventually get on the main roster. So yeah, really excited for this.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much all the NXT we're gonna get into this week. We'll cover NXT a lot more in the future when there's more interesting things. But week after Mania, they're starting the feuds. They're not ending them right now. So yeah, we'll get into more of that next time. But with that being said, the big talk of the week, a lot of the talk of the week, is AEW, and maybe not for the reasons you would want to be talked about. That's because AEW releases the All In footage from Wembley, where CM Punk and Jack Perry have that standoff. No one, really officially knew what happened. CM Punk had his story, Tony Khan had his story. A lot of other people told their versions of the story, but they released the footage.
Yeah. First off, like when I see, because this got posted on, it was announced on Collision that they would be doing this. The Collision during WrestleMania weekend, and when I seen it, I just thought it was fake. When I just first seen it, I was like, okay, who's trolling this? It's not even believable. And then I just kept seeing it, I'm like, okay, why is everybody reposting this? It's not even like a good bait. It's not even funny. And then I seen the official AEW account post, and I'm like, wait, what's happening right now? Are they hacked? And then I just kept seeing it. I'm like, they're actually doing it. And then even when until it happened, I was like, they're not even doing it. It's gonna be a fake out. It's a cop out. They're not even doing it. I'm convinced they're not doing it. But then they showed it. I'll let you give your opinions first on it.
Yeah, pretty much I thought the same as you. I thought the Bucks were gonna troll with it and try to build some heat for themselves, show the footage, but then right before something maybe happens, they cut it off and do something. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely didn't expect them to just fully air the footage out. A lot of people, a lot of the talk around it is if it helped them in any sort of way, or did it hurt them in any sort of way. A lot of people are comparing them to WCW. A lot of people are saying that this is the end, and all a lot of exaggerations on both sides of the fence. But all around, I think it was just stupid to air, at least in that way. The talk about it, the reasoning why, I should say, was they wanted to embarrass CM Punk and build the story with Jack Perry and FTR and the Young Bucks. But I don't see how in any way this did anything. I did see that Jack Perry's t-shirts were selling out or something like that, and I did see that their views for that week obviously were really good, but the thing about it is, yes, for that week it was really good, but are those people gonna return the following week, or the Saturday or whatever, you know what I mean? And I don't really think so. Obviously it grabbed my attention. I'm gonna watch it, no matter what. I think, a lot of us wrestling fans have that little bit of toxic in us, or when stuff like that happens, behind the curtains kind of thing. You just really want to see about it, and people talked about it for 8 months, and now we've seen it, and it wasn't as big of a deal, as it was kind of made out to be. Tony Khan was saying he feared for his life. I didn't see that. Maybe there's something that was cut out, or we didn't see yet, but yeah.
Yeah, with the entire footage, I will admit, looking at it in a kayfabe manner, I guess you can say, I do get it, because basically the entire reasoning of it is that since FTR is good friends with CM Punk, they think that they helped CM Punk try to take over their match and take over their entire show and ruin their entire show because of something that they built. And I kind of do understand that in a kayfabe sense. It does make sense. But at the same time, looking at it as just a human looking at a TV product, it did help, but not even that much. I think they got just under 900K, which is good, don't get me wrong, but obviously WWE's getting more, but they're always gonna get more at the end of the day. It's not even that good of a rating boost, and like you said, are those fans gonna come back next week? Not really, because the drop off on the ratings was also pretty big. I know ratings don't mean everything, but if that's what they wanted to do, did they really succeed at it? But yeah, with
it was just, I don't know, they were just kind of goofy to me.
Yeah, with Dynasty ahead though, not to give a spoiler or anything like that, or predictions this early, but I do think we will see Jack Perry in the match now that the FTR and Young Bucks match will be a ladder match. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I guess speaking of Dynasty, I guess, I'll lightly go over the card here. Obviously, we have the AEW World Title match, Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland. That's obviously, going to be a really good match. I'm expecting Swerve to win. What do you think for our early prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Swerve here. Samoa Joe is a phenomenal champion. He's a very believable champion at all times. He's a very trustworthy guy, and he'll do good with whatever he's getting. But I think he served his time. It's time to pass the torch to Swerve. It's something that a lot of people have been wanting for so long, and to finally assuming this is the moment, I'm very excited for this new for Swerve to get his big moment.
Yeah. Then we have Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly for the International AEW Championship. Probably, I would say Roderick Strong keeps it here. What do you think?
I'm a bit torn. I think early doors, I'll say Roderick Strong just because it doesn't feel like Kyle O'Reilly is ready to be the champion. That's just how I'm rating it. This match does feel like it's 10 years too late. This is something that was happening 10 years ago, and I'm sure this will still be a phenomenal match. It's two guys who have a lot of history with each other and a lot of chemistry, so hopefully it delivers.
Yeah, and then we have Okada versus Pac, and this is going to be a crazy match. The AEW Continental Championship is on the line. And yeah, this is going to be a banger right here. I'm not really familiar with either one of them. I'm just starting to learn about both of them. But yeah, they both been impressing me, and yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, this match could easily be match of the night, and won't be surprised.
And then we have the AEW Women's World Championship, and that is Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. I'm expecting Toni Storm to win this one, but I would like Thunder Rosa to win.
Yeah, it does feel like fans are kind of getting off the hype train of Toni Storm. They obviously love the character work. I don't think anybody can deny that's good character work. However, the matches aren't always the best. Sometimes they're pretty mediocre, which isn't a bad thing. But as a wrestling fan, you want those high-end, phenomenal matches every week.
Yep. And then up next, they have Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe versus the House of Black in a trios match, not for the titles or anything. And yeah, I think probably House of Black wins. But yeah.
Yeah, this match could be, again, another match that can easily steal the show. I love House of Black pay-per-view trios matches. They always do really good in these. I still remember the Elite one they did with Bucks and Omega. That was a very good one. But yeah, really excited for this match. Winners, I'll go House of Black right now, just cause.
No. Alright, and then we have Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship.
Yeah, the winner will be facing Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing. So pretty big stipulations on who we get. It feels like everything's going towards Willow, as well as I'm pretty sure they said that somewhere that Julia Hart got injured in one of her matches recently and has been dealing with a minor injury, so that might come into play, unfortunately, for her.
Yeah, they had the whole thing also where Mercedes was doing the interview and the lights go out, she gets attacked and all that. People are expecting it. That was obviously Julia. So potential, we'll get Mercedes Moné going to, attack her, maybe cost her the match. But yeah, then we have the match you were just talking about, and that is the tournament finals ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, and that is the Young Bucks versus FTR, two of the best tag teams in the world. FTR, I believe, have a 2-1 advantage over them as far as wins and losses go. And I think I'm going to go with the Bucks winning this one. I would prefer FTR over them, but I think, in story, I think it makes sense for the Bucks to win this one.
Yeah, I think Bucks are probably going to win this one. Just the EVPs being the champions again makes sense, with potential run-ins from Perry being involved potentially. But yeah, I see a lot of people kind of talking down this match because we've seen this match so many times. By the end of the day, it's the fourth time we've seen it in 4 years. If I see two of the best tag teams right now, as long as of all time at this point, I'm not going to be mad seeing that once every year. I would enjoy seeing that. I would love to see this match every week, really. So, yeah, I don't see why people are hating this match.
Yeah, and then the final match, the one I think I'm most excited for, and that's going to be Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Just going to be an absolute banger. A lot of eyes on this match, a lot of eyes on this pay-per-view just in general. And yeah, this is going to be Will Ospreay's first, big stage with AEW.
Yeah, this is on paper, this match is absolutely amazing. I think on paper, no one can deny that you cannot be excited for this. There's so much great talent on this card, so many potential 5-star matches if you care about that. So yeah, really excited for this match. Winner could go either way. I'm a big fan of both of them. I think Will Ospreay might edge this one out because, I mean, he is built to be like the next big star, and with the Wembley show coming up in just a few months, maybe we see him challenging for the belt. So yeah, by the time to start building him up.
Yeah, and that's the Dynasty preview. That is all the matches we have so far. Obviously, we'll have our video a little bit closer to Dynasty coming out this week, our predictions. But yeah, after that, a little bit more AEW news here. Kind of AEW news. And that is Jon Moxley wins all 3 belts, officially has held 3 world titles on 3 of the biggest promotions in the world.
Yeah.
He wins the WWE title, AEW title, and New Japan title now.
Yeah, I mean, he said it the other day that he will always be the most underrated and most guy that people won't understand how valuable he is to a company. He has been one of the best wrestlers for the past, ever since he got to AEW, and even when he was in WWE, he was phenomenal, doing great work there at times. Sometimes maybe not so great, but that's because of creative. But yeah, just Mox deserves so much love, and I'm so happy that he is the first person to ever win the biggest belt in 3 of the biggest companies in the world. Just, it must be a huge moment for him, and like that everybody has given them the respect that he does deserve.
Yeah, it's cool that he got this moment, because you see the other 2 Shield members, and Seth and Roman, they've held world titles multiple times. They've held it for long reigns, had incredible matches on big stages, and Moxley hasn't quite had that, but he has had probably better matches than both Roman and Seth, if you really look back on it. And yeah, I mean, he's Jon Moxley. He puts on a great show. He puts his body on the line every time. You can expect him to bleed every single match. You could expect him to hit people very hard back after they make him bleed. And yeah, he just great. And yeah, not much to say about that. I'm just happy to see him get a big achievement.
Yeah, he's one of those. It's see a lot of people say like, "Oh, I want the '90s back where we had people bleeding every time." It's like, you know what? I have a Jon Moxley match this week. That's all the '90s wrestling I need. He just, if I want to see blood, I'm gonna get it from Jon. He's the only person I'm like, I can trust you at all times.
Maybe him and Darby, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's crazy as well because Jericho's another person who theoretically could have already gotten this achievement as well. He's been a W World Champion, obviously. He was the first AEW World Champion. So if those few years between AEW and WWE, he did end up winning that. We had seen this way before. The only other options that are like actually close to breaking this, I think, is only Omega, which we have to go to WWE to do. But probably, sadly, will never happen. NJF, don't see it happening. Shinsuke is close. Shinsuke is actually a believable one if he goes to AEW, because that's pretty believable, I would say. But yeah, very cool achievement. Happy it's Mox to be the first, and congratulations to them, obviously.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all of the news for this week. Like I said, next time we do this, we'll have a bigger setup, a nicer setup, and it'll look a little bit different in the background. But yeah, we have more videos coming out this week. We have our official draft video where we're gonna say who we would pick if we were the GMs of Raw and SmackDown, and we're also gonna have more YouTube shorts coming out, and that's we're gonna kind of show off action figures. We display a few of them in the back. We have quite a few selection of figures here, so let us know what kind of content you would like to see involving that, like new hauls coming in of stuff that I get, or unboxings, whatever you could think of that you might want to see. Yeah, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, thank you guys for watching this. If you made it this far, I mean, again, let us know if you like these type of styles of videos, of these longer, just pretty much just us being us and just talking about wrestling, what we do kind of off camera. So it's good to be doing this as content now, and sharing it with you guys and getting you guys involved potentially. But yeah, fun week of wrestling. Excited for the next one.
Yeah, like I said, every other Monday we're gonna be doing these, so look forward to every other Monday us dropping one of these and a new background next time. So thank you guys for all the support. Yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.